Good morning, this is Jim, 5714 Collector, bringing you another video about the 1972 Topps baseball card set. It's Sunday morning. I hope everybody's having a good start for their Sunday. And we got 10 more cards for you this morning, and we're going to start with number 387 here in a minute. Just want to point out a couple things. Last night, the Orioles came back in the bottom half of the ninth inning down 3-0 with 2 outs, and they were being no-hit and won the game 4-3. So I thought that was pretty cool. They were celebrating Cal Ripken's 30th anniversary of breaking Lou Gehrig's record, 2,131 games. So I thought it would be fun just to point that out and talk about it this morning real quick. So very happy with the Orioles win last night. And I was watching Dan's Vintage Baseball PC. He did a video about players that are not Hall of Famers and why he collects the more obscure players. And it was a really good video. And one thing I want to comment on is Dan is correct 100%. None of these players are common players. They might be a little obscure, but they're not commons. These cards of these great players who played in the majors, and as I've gone through the 72 Topps set, and I'm up like today would be 396. It's fascinating to go on the Society for American Baseball Research and the Bullpen Review, Wikipedia, and all of those great websites to check out some information on some of these great players. Every player, and I made this comment last week, all these players are great players. Just to make the major leagues is a great accomplishment. And they might be a little obscure because obviously a lot of us haven't heard of all these players, but they certainly had their moments in the sun. And that's pretty cool. I'm learning a lot about these guys. And this morning, we're going to start off with Horace Clarke. Here with the New York Yankees. He was a second baseman. And had a really good career, too. He was playing with the Yankees in between their pennant winners and all that. From the mid-60s and all that. You know, before they got really good again, you know, in the 80s and all that. So, because the Yankees had some lean years starting in 1965 up into the 70s. So there's the back of Mr. Clarke's card. And we'll talk about Horace here real quick. And I got a couple notes about him. He hit his first Major League home run on September 21st, 1965. And that was off the Indians' Floyd Weaver. Now, Floyd Weaver's someone I've never heard of. So I'm going to have to do some research on him, too. It was a grand slam. So that's a pretty cool item there. In 1970, he broke up 3 no-hitters in the 9th inning of a span of 1 month. So that's pretty cool. June 4th, it came against Jim Rorker. I hope I'm saying that right. June 19th against Sonny Siebert. And July 2nd against Joe Niekro. He led the American League in the bats in 1969 and 1970. He had his best season in 1969. He hit .285. He scored 82 runs. He had 26 doubles and 7 triples. So very good season for Mr. Clarke. So card number 2 this morning is number 388. And that's Charlie Williams here with the Mets. And that's a cool looking card. I love those spring training shots. Let me show the back of that. Now that's pretty awesome. I like looks like palm trees in the background. That's pretty cool. Let's say that was taken in Florida. So let's talk about Charlie a little bit. So he was drafted by the Mets in the 7th round of the 1968 Major League Draft. He made his Major League debut with the Mets on April 21st, 1971, and that was against the Cubs. He pitched 2 2/3 innings. He gave up 4 runs, and 2 of those were earned. And a little small comment about that, Nolan Ryan was the winning pitcher that day. So that's pretty cool. Neat little link up there. He was traded to the Giants on May 11th, 1972. Let's see, along with his 50 strikeouts, that's, you know, I don't, and now I'm reading this again, I have along with 50 Ks from Willie Mays. You know what? I wrote something down, not even really sure what it is. So my mistake this morning. I'll have to go back and do a little more research because I don't know what I was trying to say there. But he must have struck out Willie Mays at some point. And But he pitched 8 years in the majors. He was 23-22 with 262 games pitched and 4 saves. So that's Mr. Charlie Williams. Card 389 is Bill Rigney, manager of the Twins here. And there's the back of Bill's card. Let's talk about Mr. Rigney a little bit, shall we? So he managed the New York Giants starting in 1956, and he continued to manage them for 2.5 years in San Francisco. So, yeah, not bad. That's pretty cool. One of the managers during the great Willie Mays era and all that. He was fired by the Giants in 1960, and he was hired to manage the expansion Los Angeles Angels in 1961. He managed them for over 8 seasons, so he had a nice little run with them. He was manager of the year in 1962 with the Angels. He managed the 1970 Twins to the American League West title, and the Twins were 98-64 that season. Of course, they were swept by the Orioles in the championship series that year. His major league record as a manager was 1,239 wins and 1,321 losses, and he managed 18 years in the major leagues. So quite a run for Mr. Rigney. Card number 390 is the great Willie Davis, center fielder for the Dodgers for a long time. And here's a player that I would say probably belongs in the Hall of Fame. He's one of them guys that's so close, and really if they elected him, I would say, yeah, put him in. He had a great career. There's the back of Mr. Davis's card. Won a couple Gold Gloves, so, yeah, very good player, very good hitter. He signed with the Dodgers in 1958. In 1959, Willie hit .352 with the Reno Silver Sox and won the California League MVP. The following season, he was promoted up to the Pacific Coast League, and he won the MVP that year. So he's a back-to-back minor league MVP with 2 different teams and 2 different leagues. So pretty impressive. In Game 2 of the 1963 World Series, Willie had 2 doubles and knocked in 2 runs, and he led the Dodgers to a 4-1 win against Al Downing and the New York Yankees. So that's a pretty cool accomplishment. He was a 3-time Gold Glove winner. He led the National League in triples twice, had over 2,500 career hits, and 138 triples. So a really good career, and really he could certainly be in the Hall of Fame. That's, he's just a really good player. So card number 391 is Ken Sanders here with Milwaukee. That's a pretty cool looking card. One of them cool color matches. They got it right with the Brewers, that's for sure. I'll give Tops that. So there's the back. And we'll talk about Mr. Sanders here. So he made his debut with the Kansas City Athletics on August 6, 1964 against the New York Yankees. He pitched 1 2/3 innings. He gave up 1 hit, 2 walks, and no runs. So very good debut against the Bronx Bombers. In 1971 with Milwaukee, Ken was 7-12. For the last place Brewers, they were 69-92 that year. He led the majors in appearances with 83. He threw 136 1/3 innings that season. One thing you don't see relievers doing that anymore is going over the 100 inning mark, but that's impressive. His ERA was 1.91, and he saved 31 games that season. So that was his best year, and he won the Sporting News Fireman of the Year award that season. Well deserved. He started 1 game in his career, so that's an interesting tidbit. And he saved 86 games lifetime. So that's Mr. Sanders. So we got some really good players today, too. So we have the Pirates rookie card. That's card number 392. We got Fred Cabrera and Richie Zisk. That's pretty cool. We'll show the back of that. There's the back of that card. So let's talk about Mr. Cabrera first. So let's see, he was selected by the Pittsburgh Pirates in the 3rd round of the '69 draft. He pitched a perfect game while pitching for the York Pirates on July 15th, 1969. That's pretty cool. You pitch a perfect game in the minors, you're doing something right. He won his only major league game on September 5th, 1970, and that came against the Phillies. He was 1-2 lifetime. He pitched 33 1/3 innings. So that's pretty cool. I mean, just to win a game in the major leagues, what an accomplishment. I mean, that's pretty awesome. Richie Zisk, he had quite a career too. He won 3 minor league home run championships. That's awesome. He was a 2-time All-Star. He had 2 100 RBI seasons. He hit 420 at-bats in 2 National League Championship Series games, championship seasons, I guess. And he had 207 lifetime home runs. So Richie Zisk had quite a career. Card number 393 is Curt Moton. Now, I remember Curt Moton when he played for the Orioles in the late 60s, in like 1970, 71. He would have been their 4th or 5th outfielder, and he was their pinch hitting specialist. And there's Mr. Moton's card here with Milwaukee. Love that hat, how they did that color job. So, and there's the back of Curt's card. And we'll talk about Mr. Moton. So, Curt attended, I have a hard time, Encino High School in California, along with Willie Stargell and Tommy Harper. He signed with the Cubs in the summer of 1961 for $4,000. He hit his first Major League home run for the Orioles in 1967 off Galen Cisco. On May 15th and May 17th of that season, Curt tied the Major League record by hitting home runs in consecutive pinch hit at-bats. So, pretty cool. He had the game-winning RBI in Game 2 of the '69 American League Championship game against the Minnesota Twins. Pretty impressive. He had 25 career home runs. So that's Mr. Moton. And I do remember him, and I think I might have his 71 Topps card over here in my box and all that. So card number 394 is Ken Forsch, here with the Astros. And Ken was a starter and a reliever in his career. Show the back of that. There's the back of Ken's card. Of course, his brother Bob pitched in the major leagues also. We're going to talk about Ken here. He made his debut with the Astros on September 7th, 1970, the day before his 24th birthday. He took a 1-hit shutout into the bottom of the 9th inning of that game. Before retiring, he gave up 5 runs, but he did win the game 10-5. So that's pretty cool. In 1976, pitching in relief, Ken had a career-high 19 saves over 92 innings. In late August 1978, Ken went back to starting games, and in 6 starts in that latter part of that season, he was 4-2 with 4 complete games and 2 shutouts. In his second game of the 1979 season against the Atlanta Braves, he threw a no-hitter. He beat the Braves 6-0. So here's a cool piece of trivia. Ken and his brother Bob are the only brothers in Major League history to have no-hitters. So that's pretty cool. And if I remember right, he won 114 lifetime games. So Ken Forsch had a nice, really good career. And so did his brother Bob. So we have card number 395, and that's Matty Alou. Let's talk about Matty Alou. Of course, he played with his brothers, Jose and Felipe. And that's pretty cool. And one thing I learned on Baseball Reference, Alou is their mother's maiden name. Rojas is their given last name on their father's side and all that. So it's Rojas, not Alou. We'll show this one more time. There's Matty. Matty had quite a career, too. Let's talk about Mr. Alou here. So he was called up by the Giants in September of 1960, and he had a single in his first Major League at-bat. In the 1962 World Series against the Yankees, he went 4 for 12, so he hit .333 in that World Series. On September 10th, 1963, all 3 Alou brothers batted in the same inning against New York pitcher Carl Willie. He retired all 3 of them. So that's cool that they batted in the same inning back to back to back. And the pitcher retired all 3. So that's pretty cool. In 1966 with the Pirates, Matty led the National League in hitting with a .342 average, and his brother Felipe finished second. That's the only time that brothers have finished 1-2 in the batting title race. Now, that's pretty cool. He led the National League in hits and doubles in 1969, and he finished with a .307 batting average. So, very impressive career for Mr. Alou. So, let's see. The last card this morning is Paul Lindblad, and that's here with the Rangers. Show that card. And again, love those hats the way they did that. Like Topps used to do that. Because, of course, the Senators left Washington in 1971 at the end of that season, became the Texas Rangers in 72. So there's one more time just to show that hat. Let's talk about Mr. Lindblad here a little bit this morning. He made his major league debut with the Kansas City Athletics on September 15th, 1965. He tossed a perfect inning, and he struck out Bob Allison and Jimmy Hall. That's a pretty cool debut. He had a 385-game errorless streak. I think it went across 8 seasons, but 385 games without making an error. That's pretty cool. During Game 3 of the 1973 World Series, Paul became the last pitcher to face the great Willie Mays. So there's a trivia question for you guys. That's pretty awesome. Willie grounded into a fielder's choice, so that was Willie's last major league at bat. That's pretty impressive. And Paul was the winning pitcher that day, so that's pretty cool. In 1975, he had his best season. He pitched in 68 games across 122 and third innings, both career highs. He was 9-1 with 7 saves and a 2.72 ERA. On September 28, 1975, which was the final day of the season, Paul combined with a no-hitter with Vida Blue, Glenn Abbott, and Rollie Fingers. So that no-hitter came against the Angels. So that's pretty cool. So really cool footnote in history about Mr. Lindblad. The Willie Mays thing is really cool. So I thought that was pretty impressive. So that's what I've got for you this morning for the 1972 Topps baseball card set. And next week we're going to push ourselves over 400, card number 400. So that's pretty cool. So we're halfway through, roughly, this being part number 29. Again, this morning, I just want to announce real quick that Cash Dad Pack Busters was the winner of the giveaway. I have not heard from them yet. Please reach out to me, and we'll get that shipped out to you. If I hear from you today, it'll be in the mail tomorrow. I'll run up to the post office and all that. So, Cash Dad Pack Busters. And next week, probably middle of the week, maybe Thursday, I've got some recent pickups. I'm going to show some Nolan Ryan stuff and really cool stuff. So, please stay tuned for that. I hope everybody has a fantastic Sunday. And like I said, we're already through 29 parts of the 72 set. So next week we'll do part number 30. Everyone have a great day. Appreciate everybody watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.